Hi, I'm the Scrub and you're here for one reason. Reen, just talk to her. She's just goth. She doesn't bite. Well, I assume she doesn't bite. Urianger, save me from teenagers. Is it wind or fire next? What do you mean, both? You want me to defeat the gods of wind and fire at the same time? So you want me to do double the work for the same pay, that's what I'm hearing. The things I do for cheese. I better be getting overtime for this. Time to learn about Eden's verse Furor. Simplified. The entire arena will be surrounded with a wall of fire. If you walk or get knocked into this wall, it will instantly kill you. The fight starts with Garuda. Ferrostorm will create blades on opposite points of Garuda. These will have untelegraphed conal AoEs from Garuda through the blades. If you are still standing in these conal AoEs when they go off, you'll get a Vuln stack. Superstorm is a room-wide AoE. Two players will get a darker purple circle with a pair of pyramids orbiting their head. This player will need at least one other person to stand in the circle with them to soak the damage of this circle. If no one stands with this player and they end up taking this alone, they'll be thrown into the air and be unable to dodge what comes next. When these go off, an AoE will be created where the circle was, called Thorns. These will give you a Vuln stack if you get hit by them. You also can't stack these, as these will give you a magic vulnerability up and will instantly one-shot anyone in both circles if you overlap them. There will be a knockback from the middle of the arena with a blue AoE. Don't stand in the blue AoE, as this will instantly one-shot you. Just make sure that you are close to this AoE so you aren't knocked back into the death wall. Knockback Immunity also works for this mechanic. Storm of Fury is a point-blank AoE along with two people, normally both healers, being tethered to Garuda. These players will have a conal AoE through their position, so if you get a tether, just maneuver away from the rest of the party. Vacuum Slice will create Danger Bacon in a straight line through the middle of the arena. This Danger Bacon will instantly kill you if you get hit by it or touch it. This insta-kill will also go through all invulns and Transcendency, so do not touch the Danger Bacon. Occluded Front will create 6 Wind Orbs, 3 on each side of the arena. There will then be a knockback in a straight line towards the middle of the arena from both sides. This will affect everything in the arena, and also Knockback Immunity will not work for this, so you'll need to make sure that you do this correctly. Stand on a point against the death wall that doesn't have a wind orb. When you get pushed towards the middle of the arena, you'll be safe from the wind orbs that also get pushed, as well as preventing yourself from going into the death bacon. If you get hit by a wind orb, it will give you a Vuln stack. After this goes off, the arena will return to normal. Then Garuda will become untargetable and fly out from the arena as a proximity marker is placed at the north end of the arena. Everyone will need to get away from this to reduce the overall damage to them. After a few seconds, Ifrit will land in the arena and become targetable. If you get hit with any move from Ifrit itself, you'll get the debuff of Lightheaded. When you have this debuff, if you get hit by anything else that is an attack from Ifrit, you'll get a 10-second concussion debuff and not be able to move or perform actions for several seconds. The cast Hands of Flame will cause Ifrit to tether to the tank with a thin yellow tether. This is a single hit tank buster which will give you the Lightheaded debuff. This is also a straight line cleave, so prithee standeth not with thine tank. One player will get a red marker over their head. Shortly after, this player will have 3 tethers on them and Ifrit will cast Hands of Hell. Players who do not have a Lightheaded debuff will need to intercept 2 of these tethers and drag them away from the rest of the party. When the cast ends, Ifrit will dash to these players at the same time in an untelegraphed straight line AoE and give these players the Lightheaded debuff. If you get hit by Ifrit dashing to the tethered players, you'll also get a Lightheaded debuff. The players with the tethers will really need to spread out, as if you get clipped by 2 dashing Ifrits, it will give you a slight knockback and instantly give you a concussion debuff. This also has the ability to instantly one-shot you or knock you into the death wall. This is also the case if you don't have enough players to take the tethers from you and you end up taking 2 of them together, although Knockback Immunity will negate the slight knockback. Instant Incineration is a straight line cleaving tank buster, so make sure that you aren't in the way of the tank. If a tank is affected by either lightheaded or concussion when they get this tank buster, they will temporarily get launched into the Shadow Realm with the debuff of Unstable. This will cause their damage taken to be increased. Eruption will put medium-sized point-blank AoEs underneath random party members. Just move out of these to avoid the Vuln stack if you get hit by them. Strike Spark will create 8 flame orbs around the outside of the arena. Ifrit will teleport to one of these orbs and cast Hot Foot. As the orbs get more fire and grow larger, Ifrit will reminisce about his failed football career and will kick the orb that he teleported to into the middle of the arena. Every orb will then explode in a large AoE and give a Vuln stack if you get hit by them. The only safe spot for this mechanic is where Ifrit kicked the orb. Infernal Howl is a room-wide AoE. After this, Ifrit will become untargetable and jump from the arena. Then both Ifrit and Garuda will return and become targetable again. They will start to overlap their mechanics. Danger Bacon and Eruption will go off together. The Occluded Front Wind Orbs and Ifrit's Hot Foot will also go off together, so be aware of which orb Ifrit teleports to and which direction he will kick the orb to change the safe zone. Then it's the paired purple circles of Air Bump along with the triple tether of Hands of Hell, and finally a Ferrostorm cast when the Hands of Hell go off. Following this, both Ifrit and Garuda will jump up from the arena and become untargetable. They will transition together with a room-wide AoE of Firestorm and fuse into one creature. Sharif don't like it. Oh my god, will you f***ing stop? Raktapaxa. The total health of the new boss will be the average between the health of Ifrit and Garuda, so the lower the health of Ifrit and Garuda, the less you'll have to deal with in this final phase. The arena will be covered in flaming AoEs. There will be either 3 safe zones around the outside of the arena, or 1 safe area towards the middle of the arena. If you don't make it to a safe zone, every AoE that you get hit by will give you a Vuln stack. This is immediately followed by a Furor Storm cast. Dodge the AoEs. It will then cast a Hands of Flame Tank Buster, but after this goes off, it will create a narrow straight line safe zone in the direction it's facing. So I'd advise that tanks do their best to have Raktapaxa aim towards the middle of the arena as best they can. Then the air bump pairs, eruptions underneath random players, and triple Hands of Hell tethers will happen at the same time. So people will need to pair up, watch out for the eruptions, and get ready to grab tethers and spread out as best they can, as you don't want to get clipped by an eruption cast as well as more than one dashing Ifrit. When this Hands of Hell cast goes off, all 3 Ifrits will create the same narrow straight line safe zone for themselves, which will cause there to be a much smaller safe zone. Everyone else will need to get close to Ifrit to be able to dodge the AoEs around the rest of the arena, as it will be a Vuln stack per AoE you get hit by and can easily one-shot you if you don't make it in time. Raktapaxa will then create a blue knockback AoE in the middle of the room and knock back all players. The boss will then become untargetable and fly to the middle of the room to become targetable again and start casting Conflag Strike. This will create the large flame AoEs all around the arena as well as the eruptions underneath random players. It will go in the order of flaming AoEs, then 1 set of eruptions, then another batch of flaming AoEs, then 2 sets of eruptions back to back. Right after the second set of eruptions go off, Raktapaxa will create a 270-degree AoE in the direction it's facing. You'll need to be behind the boss to dodge this attack, which will instantly one-shot you if you don't manage to get to the safe zone. This can be pretty chaotic, but if you're constantly moving as a group as best you can, you'll manage to dodge all 5 AoEs and safely be behind the boss at the end of it all. From this point, mechanics will cycle in this order until Raktapaxa has been defeated. A Furor Storm along with air bump pairs, then it's the Storm of Fury tethers with eruptions, then it's a room-wide AoE, then it's the Hands of Hell tethers with more eruptions, then it's a Tank Buster with the flaming AoEs around the arena, and then another room-wide AoE. Remember to use the limit break, and congratulations, you have defeated Eden 6. My name is The Scrub. Thank you for watching.